It's that time of year. It's time for Giant Monster Month. I'm talking about this movie for one reason and one reason alone. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. In 1976, an official remake of King Kong got everyone excited about Kong again, and, in usual style, several cash-grab, low-budget Big Ape movies were made, such as Ape, 1976's Queen Kong, or the Shaw Brothers produced The Mighty Peking Man. If you're familiar with the practice or have seen movies like Snakes on a Train, you probably already know the quality of Ape. Set and created in Korea, Ape tells the story of a giant gorilla escaping his captors to terrorize the country. The movie starts with Ape escaping. It's never really explained how they get him. There's a brief conversation aboard the boat where the captain mentions being at the capture, but that's all we get. I guess everyone's so familiar with the Kong story that no one cares for the backstory anymore. But come on, we're just going to gloss over the discovery and capture of the beast? If this really were a Kong ripoff, we at least might get to see Ape fight a guy in a dinosaur suit on his home island. Doesn't really matter though. The next scene is Ape fighting with a giant shark, who also isn't explained, so I guess that makes up for it. In this movie, part of the fun is just making up your own explanations. Like, the shark was probably normal-sized until Ape's radioactive piss got in the water and transformed him into a bloodthirsty giant shark. Anyway, the fight scene is hilarious. The Ape actor is just throwing around a shark puppet the whole time. The camera will cut from one shot of Ape shaking it to another. After that's over, Ape lands and starts to destroy a village as the people run scared. At this point, we're nearly 10 minutes in and we've just been following Ape. Maybe he'll be the main character, and we'll get to skip the boring human scenes. But nope, cut to an airport where the movie should have started as we're introduced to Marilyn, not Monroe, and her friend, Tom Rose. They reconnect, but let's get back to the ape. The next time we see Ape, he's watching some kids at the playground. Or at least that's what it's supposed to look like. All we see are shots of Ape hanging out by a tree and kids playing. For all we know, they could be on the other side of the country. The kids scream when they see Ape, but that could be totally unrelated. What I'm trying to say is, couldn't we have some sort of establishing shot, or maybe see the ape and the kids together in the same frame? Whatever, now I'm getting nitpicky. Next thing we know, Ape is fighting a giant snake, also unexplained, and just like the shark fight, it's totally underwhelming. Ape literally just throws the snake, finishing the fight. In a hilarious blunder, the snake hits the camera, causing it to shake and glitch out. The best part is, they already had the shot. They could have cut out a few frames to prevent the shaking, but they didn't. Next, we're back to the military, who's been gathering reports of a giant ape. The general literally asks if this is a gag. I understand this excuse when the only people who've seen the monster are teenagers, but in this case, an entire village, plus a class, teacher included, have seen the ape. Next, we see some dudes fighting. One looks like a luchador, and the other looks like a gardener. When the ape shows up, they put aside their differences and attack the ape with a bow and arrow. I don't know if this movie was originally done in 3D, but they do that trick where the arrow pops out at the screen. Anyways, it doesn't work and Ape goes on his way. We get several more weird scenes where Ape meets weirdos in the countryside, interspliced between scenes of the military guys talking on the phone or Marilyn and Tom's romance. In continuing with the plotline, Ape finds and captures Marilyn on one of his rampages, causing the military to finally take action. Marilyn escapes, while Ape fights helicopters, and we finally get to see the moment we've all been waiting for. Ape throws a helicopter against the side of a cliff and then proceeds to flip it off. It's hilarious and totally unexpected. Before the movie was just dumb, now we've crossed the line into some sort of self-parody. The movie goes downhill from there. Ape tries to get Marilyn back and destroy some cities in the process, but he's trapped by the military and killed from boredom as he watches the same shots of helicopters, bombs, and soldiers running over and over. Another happy ending. If you've ever heard of Ape, you probably only heard of it for that famous finger scene. Sorry to say that the rest of the movie isn't as great. There's still a lot of cheesy action and enough technical errors to keep you entertained, but the quote-unquote main plot is super boring. If you cut out Tom and Marilyn and just kept in the inept military and Ape's antics, this movie would be excellent. I'd recommend this movie, just be careful that you go in with the expectation that it will be boring, so the highlights seem even better.